This is no mine. It's a tomb.
There have been a whole host of new little Easter eggs included in Stellaris with patch 3.5's release. We have seen the Tianki Death World, which has a rather interesting end that probably heralds the arrival of something far more sinister. Today, we're going to be looking at the new Ultima Vigilis system, and why I believe that could herald the coming, or indeed be an Easter egg for, a new crisis, a fourth crisis in Stellaris. So without any further ado, let's dive in and find out more. You may have noticed in some of your recent games, there is a neutron star at the edge of the galaxy, not attached to the main body of the galaxy. In order to get here, you are going to have to put some jump drives or psionic jump drives on your ship, and then you can jump a science ship into the system. At which point, you might notice something rather strange. Your science ship will emerge in a sector of the galaxy, surely not visited by any galactic civilizations for generations, for millennia, if ever. But your sensors do report energy signatures. Most are concentrated on the first planet in the system, an unlikely candidate for life considering its close proximity to a powerful neutron star. But there are others, mobile energy sources, that then careen towards your science ship with their weapons charged. These ships will bear all of the resemblance to fallen Empire ships elsewhere in the galaxy. There'll be a Titan-class 5 battlecruisers and 20 escorts. Once you have a suitable host of warships assembled, you can attempt to invade Ultima Vigilis. And should you prove successful in defeating these enemy forces, you will have defeated the defenders. The system is then a curious sight. There is very little solid matter remaining in it. Even its asteroid belts have a bedraggled look, as if they have been extensively mined. A series of large installations placed at regular intervals around the star system does appear to be there, and there is a single planet that our readings suggest may be artificial in origin. Intense energy signals have been detected emanating from it. If answers are to be found, they are to be found there. And that then leads us to Observation Terminal, a lone, broken machine world in the middle of this otherwise desolate system. On Observation Terminal, we then find an archaeology site, and the mystery deepens further. This, the sole planet in the Ultima Vigilis system, is an ancient robot world, bustling with drones. They completely ignore us and continue about their tasks. If the answers to this curious system are to be found anywhere, it must be on this lone planet. As we delve further into the excavation, we find a planet teeming with artificial life. As far as our researchers can tell, there has never been life on the planet they have ominously dubbed Observation Terminal. But there is no shortage of activity. The surface is densely built up. Massive artificial structures placed upon the bare bedrock in neat, orderly rows that cover almost 3/4 of the planet. Billions of mechanical drones maintain them, performing tasks ranging from menial cleanup to running highly complex assembly lines. Their exact purpose at this point, however, remains unclear. Our researchers then prepare to send a team to the surface to investigate further. We then dive in to investigate the drones. As our researchers pass amongst them, the drones on the planet ignore their presence and continue going about their tasks. All efforts to communicate with the drones then fail, and even attempts to disrupt them produce no reactions. The drones simply ride roughshod over the interfering researchers and cause serious injury to our personnel. Following these incidents, the researchers shift their focus to programs steering the drones. Analysis of intercepting signals suggests there is an overarching system steering them. However, the encryption it uses is extremely sophisticated, and it does prove hard to find out more. Whilst our researchers are then unable to make further progress investigating the planet, a team investigating the array of objects spread around the system does have some success. There are over 10,000 of them. Most are long and cylindrical devices that still seem to be operating. They are transmitting a signal towards the planet. Given their shape and the fact that they seem to be without exception pointed towards various points in our galaxy, we cannot escape the conclusion that this is an absurdly huge sensor array. But who could have built it? And it then becomes time to embark on the greatest phishing scam in galactic history. In a daring move, our researchers do manage to implant spyware into an access terminal to the drone's mainframe in a moment where no drones are nearby. The intrusion does not seem to be detected, and then our impression is of a highly sophisticated system, beyond even our own networks probably, but one which did not anticipate the need to protect itself. No doubt the physical deterrence of the defense fleet was deemed sufficient protection. Nevertheless, the systems we are infiltrating are vast, a term which seems a gross understatement for this planetary system, so it will take some time to find out more. And this then leads us to a final and chilling discovery: the surveillance supercomputer. It seems the automated systems in Ultima Vigilis are older than we can imagine. The data systems that we have hacked do not give us any clues as to the identity or ultimate intentions of its creator. But the one thing we have managed to ascertain is that they arrived no less than 1.2 billion years ago, and departed soon after, setting up the system as an observation post to surveil our entire galaxy. Remarkably, the system is still operating even after all of these eons. The array of installations spread out across the system are, it turns out, highly sophisticated sensors. They then send a live feed to the planet where the central operating system processes it into information the drones can save and store. Spurred on by shortages of space and matter, it seems that they have improved their data compression techniques with determination. The massive structures on the planet purport to contain the sum of all observations ever recorded. However, we cannot test this assertion since the data is compressed well beyond our ability to decompress it. Disturbingly, a reduced stream of highlights is still being broadcast into empty space. But surely no one is listening after all this time. Regardless, our programs are poised to take control of the drones. We may now shape the system to our imagination, if we dare. And if you're enjoying this video, please monitor that like button. And that then leads us to three interesting options. The first, we can let them continue. We can siphon off their readings. If we do this, we'll gain 10 minor artifacts, and the system will turn into a sentry array, giving us full and complete knowledge of the entire galaxy. Yes, this is a fully upgraded sentry array that we have hacked into. That is the least intrusive of the three options. Next, we could choose to distribute the drones to our planet, in which case we will get a whopping 80 robot pops distributed across our worlds and 10 minor artifacts. Finally, the Ultima Vigilis system could be placed under the control of a machine intelligence that will then become our subject. Their capital observation terminal will turn into a machine world with 80 pops, and we will gain 10 minor artifacts. Both of these two options, to either acquisition all of the pops or give the sentient network a degree of autonomy away from the design and role it had previously been specified for, give a 50% chance of a rather terrifying outcome. And this is where I feel the true Easter egg lies. We could receive a transmission if we cut off the data feed from an unknown extragalactic threat. The transmission comes in, "You inconsiderate!" It is then garbled for a time and no sense can be made of the noises heard. Did you never consider that somebody might be watching that signal feed you so carelessly cut off? Well, since you have proven yourselves to be dangerously aggressive vermin, it's time to call the pest control. Prepare to face your doom. We can either send a message of resilience, tell them we will survive, or simply cut the transmission entirely. Either way, if we receive this transmission, the Endgame crisis will now be guaranteed to spawn 5 years after the Endgame start year. That is definitely an interesting mechanic. What I think is more interesting is the nature and origin of these observers. Who possibly could we know of in the Stellaris universe and the Stellaris lore that would refer to an entire crisis as pest control that might possibly attack us and regard us as vermin to be hunted. And I use that word hunted very carefully, because I believe that this could be none other than the great hunters the Praetorian Scourge have been running away from, that we have seen referred to in numerous places that go around and purge entire galaxies. I think that this could be a fourth crisis that may indeed be coming with patch 3.7 or possibly as late as 3.8, whatever the next major DLC is that comes out next year. For me, this does seem to be quite a lot of effort if it isn't signposting some rather large change coming in the future. As I know from a technical standpoint, a lot of work had to go into making this one system, because before patch 3.5, if there was a system in the galaxy unconnected to the rest of the galactic hyperlane network, it would actually break the AI in the game. In order to include this, the developers probably had to do quite a bit of work to fix that issue, so it must have been done with very deliberate intent. But what do you think about the Ultima Vigilis system? Do you think this could herald the coming of a new and unique crisis? Let me know down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to know more about some of the new Easter eggs the developers have left in Stellaris, you probably want to hear about the Tiyanki Death World. Click the video on screen now.